So Super Nanny, under those conditions, is doing that sort of last-ditch effort of bringing things around where someone can look at it differently, and we are not in disagreement with her tactics under those conditions at all. But what we are in, and the reason that she is so effective is because she has this one principle really well understood by her, and she teaches it to the parents. You hear us say that if you have a desire and a belief, and they are in the same place, then there's no vibrational difference between what you want and where you are, and therefore it is. When what you want and what you believe are in the same vibrational place, it is, or it is about to be. In other words, once you line that up like that, it has to be. So Super Nanny, in her offering, gets very consistent about what she expects. The first thing she does is make a sort of schedule that everybody understands, and then they're all on the same page in terms of what they expect. And then she lays out the guidelines. These are the things that we want, and these are the things that we expect. So right away, in other words, Super Nanny never doubts that those children are going to come into alignment. So she is offering a very consistent vibration. And at first, the parents are a big hindrance to her because they believe more in what they've been seeing in the children. They're hoping that Super Nanny can help them. And what they've been living has caused endless rockets of desires to go off within them. And so when she shows up, they are more hopeful, so they're in a better place than they've been in a very long time. And then as they watch her getting results, they begin to come into alignment as they begin to believe in the effectiveness of what she's offering. But what's making it happen, the magic behind anything, is the vibrational alignment. The action has very little to do with anything. It is what you are emanating vibrationally. So Jerry's question to us, what do you see about this that you align with, and what do you see about this that you don't align with? We align completely with the idea of getting yourself in vibrational alignment. Very often, a mother and a father will have two different opinions about something. This is a terrible circumstance for children because they get one vibration from one parent and one from another, and they don't really know what to do. So alignment with one another is very important. But very often, even one parent or the other has split energy. They want this from the child, but they expect this. And very often a parent would say, well, the reason I expect this is because this is what the child has been giving me. And we say, well, don't let them train you into your vibration about them. You get off when they're not doing that and train your own vibration, because whatever you could look at anyone, and with enough practice and with enough looking at the positive aspects of that person, you could train into your vibration only the best of anyone. And when they are with you, it would not be possible for them to get activated something that opposes what's dominant within you. But if you've got good stuff about your kids active in you and stuff you don't want activated within you, then it's sort of a crapshoot. In other words, you can get a little bit of anything. And depending on how they feel, then it seems like their vibration rules the day. And most people do let their vibration follow what they are observing. And the key to really good parenting is to train yourself into wonderful expectation about your children, regardless of how they're behaving. And once you're really into that knowledge of these magnificent children, and you feel that way, we can feel that about about the way you feel about your children. Once you really feel that way, and then you begin offering words to them, such as, I know who you are, I watch. Can you imagine how your 12-year-old would feel if the little one is squabbling and you walk into the middle of the situation and you just ask your older one to come with you, and as you're walking up the stairs together, you say to him, you get a bum rap, I thought I'd help you escape from this. And he would look at you like, you gotta be kidding, you're taking my side, you're believing in me? How good that feels. Whether he really deserves it or not, how good that feels, you see. And so the thing about children feeling competition for your love and approval between them is, as you get them off to themselves with you as often as you can and just praise the heck out of them, they start getting all bolstered as they begin to understand how you really feel about them. And because you're not doing it in front of everybody else, then you don't make anybody else jealous who's wanting that from you, in other words. And in time, they'll all be so bolstered the 8 and the 12 especially year old will be so bolstered in their acknowledgement of how you really feel about them that the feeling of competition will go away altogether. They won't feel competitive about how much you love them, because you will have given them so much opportunity to know that. Now, we know you make every effort to do that. We're not feeling any great lack there, but we are answering the specifics of the question that you've put forward here.
Can I ask another one?
Before you do, we just want to lay one more little piece in this to sort of bring this super nanny business to a close, and that is, in response to Jerry's question, what is it about this that Abraham is not completely in agreement with? We do not think it is a good idea to have a naughty corner or a jail or a bomb where you say, if you do not conform to the behavioral patterns that we have assigned, then this bad thing will happen to you. Because it's only effective as long as they believe in your power to do that bad thing to them. So it gives them no motivation to get connected to what feels good to them. Instead, they're only responding to their belief in your ability to enact this punishment, which means as long as they believe that you're big enough and strong enough and aware enough, then they'll do what they think you want them to do. But when you're not there, out of rebellion, they'll behave the way they really want to. In other words, when Super Nanny leaves at first, all hell breaks loose in those households, and then she comes back and reinforces with the parents. But as soon as the parents let down just a little bit, then there's a whiplash, and now Super Nanny needs to teach these children's parents how to hold that line, and then these parents need to teach the teachers in the school. In other words, now these children are only as good as that punishment will follow them, and it's no wonder it's a society that is running around just ducking and dodging from the punishment rather than being called by their connection. It's no wonder things are as chaotic as they are, is it? Where can you imagine teaching your child that they are an extension of source energy, and that if they will follow what feels good to them, they will always be in the right place, and in the middle of beating up on their little brother, acknowledge that the reason that feels, in other words, when one of your children behaves in that way, we promise you that's because that feels better than how he was feeling before. And so you cannot punish him for finding something that feels better than what was happening before. Instead, you want to applaud him for finding something that feels better, but encourage him quickly to keep moving on. And can you see how when he finds something that feels better and he gets punished for it, he turns around and goes back to Phoenix. And then he finds something that feels better and gets punished for it, he turns around and goes back. And before long, he feels he has no power, and the little brat brother seems to hold all the power because he keeps being the reason that he keeps getting in trouble. You see this cycle and how it works? Yes, you do. We would not say to you that one of your children is more obedient than another. We would never say to you that one of them is more loved than the other. Of course, that is not true by source or by you. We will say to you that the littlest one is more connected to source because he has had less experience in getting disconnected. And so, as a parent, no matter where you stand with your children and no matter how old they are, if you can just keep saying to yourself every day, it is my dominant intent to be an influence of connection for this child. I'm going to soothe them, I'm going to love them, I'm going to appreciate them, I'm going to make lists of positive aspects, I'm going to make focus wheels, I'm going to do everything in my power to change my vibration about this child. And I'm going to make no effort about modifying his behavior so that we'll all feel better. I'm going to coax him into connection through the power of my vibration, and then everything else will take care of itself. And can you imagine the gift you're giving your child by coaxing him into connection? You're making him free. You're making it not necessary for there to ever again be an arbitrator in his life. He won't need somebody to stand up for him. He won't need someone to defend him, nor will the little ones. In other words, they're all going to discover their own power. And the power that comes to you when you connect to source energy, there is no power greater than that. That's that true bliss that you're all reaching for, you see.
Thank you.
So you say to them, when you come to arbitrate, because it won't stop immediately. Something will come and you'll stand right in the middle of it, and as you stand there, do your best to laugh and say, we're making a big hairy deal of this, aren't we? And then say to each of them, do you know how much I love you? Do you? Do you know how much I love you? Do you? Do you know how much I love you? Do you? You little buggers. Now work it out, then leave the room. Then next time something comes up, there you are. We're making too much of all of this, say to them. Do you know how much I love you, you little bugger? Do you know how much I love you, you little bugger? Do you know how much I love you, you little bugger? Now work it out. And before you know it, you won't be going down there. And when suddenly the arbitrator that they thought was going to show up and arbitrate stops arbitrating, but he keeps loving them anyway, they're going to work it out. And then phase 2. You just look for so many reasons to appreciate and praise. Just make lists of them. No matter what's happening, make lists of them. Never let a day go by that you don't at least write 1 page on each of your children of how magnificent they are. And don't keep the list and read it every day. Write a new one every single day. And before you know it, they will rise to the expectation that you and your inner being have about them. It won't mean they'll be perfect, but it'll mean that they don't need to be perfect for you to love them. And when they don't need to be perfect for you to love them,